Welcome everyone who's arriving. We will start in a moment. We'll just give a bit more time for everyone to arrive who's coming. Just a few more seconds. Maybe take a moment to just arrive into this moment, into your breath. Maybe have a little bit of a stretch and a yawn. Maybe have a little bit of a smile. So, hi Charlotte. See that message come through. So everybody, it's 1 minute past, so we will start. Welcome to Healing the Root of Chronic Illness with EFT. Thank you so much for being here. This is a 1-hour free online event about, hi Sue, about healing the root of chronic illness with emotional freedom technique, or also known as EFT. And it's a simple and empowering technique you can do anywhere and anytime to take control of your emotions and your thoughts and your symptoms. And today is also an invite for you to join an upcoming online course on using EFT to support you to heal from chronic illness. And at the end, we'll share a special bonus for those of you who feel ready to sort of sign up for the course within the next couple of days. And my name is Frances Goodall, and I'm here today with Jen.
Hello, everyone.
And I am one of the co-founders of the Women's Wellness Circle, which was born out of my own healing journey from chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, which I had in my early 20s, or from age 19 to 24. And I've been fully well for over 12 years, and I've loved working as a wellness coach, a GUPTA coach, also being an EFT trainer, and also developing the Women's Wellness Circle to gather women together to share empowering resources and tools, but also to meet in circle with other women, and the powerful effect of healing in community, that we can heal more when we feel connected and supported in a community. And Jen is now the co-director of the Women's Wellness Circle, and also a Women's Wellness Circle coach and GUPTA coach, and is ready to give back to others following her own journey of recovery from chronic fatigue syndrome. And she's a wonderful EFT practitioner and matrix re-imprinting practitioner as well, and also a writer. And yeah, so it'd be great to know who's here. So it'd be great if you could all write. We're kind of new to using Zoom, so let's see what's already happening here. There's people writing in the chat box I can see. Hi to Charlotte, Babsy, Sue, Josephine and Claire. And also is a Q&A box as well. So if you would like to write in your name and where you're calling in from, that would be great to get a sense of who's here today. Great, Moon's here. And we've got Sylvia from Costa Rica. Whoa, lots coming through. We've got Sue from Devon. We've got Mim from France. Elaine from California, and if I miss any, feel free to pick them up, Jen. We've got Diana calling from Spain. We've got Katie calling from Devon. Lucy from Bristol in the UK. Tracy from Scotland. Anita, good day from Morgantown, WV. Great. And Lindsay says hi. And we've got Barbara, hello. I'm not sure where you're coming from. Ingrid from Colorado. Kaz from the UK. Hi sisters. Kate from Totnes, Devon. Lovely, love Totnes. How do you say that? Jorianne from snowy upstate New York. Wonderful. Anne from Norway. Susan from North Carolina. Victoria from Oregon. Wonderful. Lindsay from Brighton. Josephine from Northern Ireland. Babsy from Europe, Austria. Natalie from France. Janet from High Peak, Derbyshire. Oh, so many of you, it's so exciting. Tara from Georgia, USA. Paula from Trowbridge. Wendy from San Francisco, Rhiannon from Leicestershire, where I'm dog sitting, usually living in London, Izzy from Ireland, Lewis from Manchester, Tilly from Dorset, Angela from Alabama, Cheryl from Derbyshire, Wendy from Phoenix, Arizona, Natalka from Manchester, Tina from Hartford. I mean, there's just so many women gathering from around the world. This is amazing.
It's
Barbara
beautiful.
from Devon, Claire from the Isle of Wight, Sally, St Albans. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, there'll be a recording. That's fine. Yeah, understand that about child commitments. Cherry from Alabama, Katie from London, hello, Sally from West Sussex, Kerry from Pennsylvania, Lisa from Arizona, Ellen from Norway, Lucy from Bristol, and hello to everyone who hasn't managed to put it in yet, but it's really amazing to welcome so many women from around the world that have gathered for this event today. It's so exciting to just feel how many women are really up for these kind of approaches for healing chronic illness, and it's just amazing. I feel like we are entering a new paradigm of what's possible for healing ourselves and healing the planet as well, ultimately. So yeah, what's next? So yeah, Jen, it's down to you now.
Yeah, so I just wanted to just introduce what we're going to be doing on the call today, just to see how it's going to flow for us all. So firstly, Francis will invite us to take a moment in a moment, to take a pause, to arrive here together, wonderfully joining in a circle here. It's just an amazing energy. Thank you so much for being here, and to everyone on the replay as well. You're all part of this energy. And we'll do a little bit of silent tapping just to explore the points and explore coming into ourselves and calming ourselves down. And then we're going to be inviting you to just explore EFT with us. We'll talk a little bit about the roots of chronic illness and where we see those roots are in our experience, and we'll try and how EFT has really fitted into our own journeys as well with dealing with illness, the symptoms and the roots and the things around it. And then Francis is going to take us through a lovely EFT practice, so we can really feel an embodied practice of how to do this, and we'll do it on about our beliefs about recovery, because it's a really a big layer of how we feel about ourselves, and it can be a blocking belief, to going forwards in our journey. So we'll start there, and then we'll all have a chance to have a little share and see what's gone on for us and what's coming up for us. And then after that, we'll go into a deeper exploration of how we can deepen this journey together, and some details about the online course that we'll be running through the Women's Wellness Circle. And it'd be really great if you stayed to the end of the call, because we'll have a special offer at the end, which will only be available for the next 48 hours for the first people that sign up to the course. So just stay with us there, and we'll do some more question and answers and sharing towards the end of the session today. So I'll pass over to Francis to start to do our pause to come in.
Yeah, just wanted to also welcome Susan from Sheffield, very local to me, and Gabrielle from BC. Wonderful. Okay, so let's take a moment we're going to just do a tiny bit of tapping. So some of you might be familiar with tapping, and the first point we're going to use is the side of the hand on the fleshy bit below the little finger. We're not going to do any words with this tapping. We're just going to do some silent tapping. And for any of you who don't feel comfortable with the tapping, you can also just hold or massage the point as well, because I know for some of you with very sensitive nervous systems, that can be a good place to start. But for most people, I guess you'll be okay with the tapping. So just tapping the side of your hand and just noticing what you're bringing into this moment and how you're feeling. And just tapping. Knowing that whatever you're bringing into this moment is welcome. It's natural on this journey to have a flow of different kind of emotions coming up. It's really natural. If any of you listen to my Women's Wellness Council interview from last year, you'll know that my journey was a very emotional journey back to health. Okay, start at the eyebrow on either side. And just taking some breaths and just accepting all parts of yourself that are here in this moment, or your feelings, just how you are in this moment. Side of the eye, on the bony bit on the side of the eye, under the eye, on the bony bit under the eye, under the nose. So with EFT, it's quite easy to get caught up in, oh, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? That sort of thing. Whereas actually just tapping in silence can have a nice calming effect on you. So on the chin. Under the collarbone, on either side, sort of near the top of the sternum. Under the arm, about 3 inches down from your armpit. And I also include the finger points, which some people leave out these days, but side of the thumb, we just get all the meridians that way, and I find it to be helpful. Next finger, middle finger, just near the nail at the top. And then for the ring finger, we go around the other side. And then for the little finger, we go back to where the same side we were on. And just finishing by tapping your head. Unless you've got high blood pressure, you might not want to do this point. Okay, and then just take a moment. We're just going to have a pause, take a moment to breathe and to come into your body. Be aware of your breath going in and out of your body. Just to notice how you're feeling in this moment. Notice if there's been any effect from that little bit of tapping just now. Send a smile through your body. See if you can have a sense of all the women that are gathered for this event today. Maybe take a moment to wish that the other women here get some kind of insight or revelation from being here. To wish them well on their journey. Maybe a similar journey to yours, maybe different, but probably with some similarities. So wishing the other women here well, health, revelations, and then take a moment to take that in for yourself. So imagine that all these women here have been wishing you well as well, and to take a moment to really receive that and take that into your heart. And take a breath with that. Okay, then just opening your eyes when you're ready, coming back here. So Jan, talking about sort of the roots of chronic illness and where EFT can fit into our healing journey. Great.
Yeah, so yes, the roots. So what is it that we're talking about when we're talking about the roots of chronic illness? Isn't it different for everybody? Like, how could I possibly know what the root is for everybody? We're all so unique. We've all had such a different experience. And how can we find out what this root is? You know, like often so many of us have had such a long journey on this recovery and healing journey. And we think that we really, you know, we get to points where we think, ah, yes, it must be that, or this is really working. And then suddenly, you know, kind of maybe it's sort of evens out again, or it doesn't really feel like, you know, the thing that's really causing things going on in the background. So I'm going to put this in like I could talk about this for hours. So I will put this in the most simplest way you can possibly do to get the message across from where we come from. So our approach, we're approaching healing illness and getting to the roots, is based on the premise that symptoms and dis-ease in the body are a manifestation of an overstimulated nervous system. So we have this really highly developed, highly tuned, and able nervous system, which is just an incredible part of our evolution that is there to keep us safe at all times. That is its aim. It is just there to help us survive. It doesn't have any other thought process. It doesn't have any sort of rationalization. All it knows is it wants to keep us alive. And for some people, this stress response that's mediated by this nervous system has been overstimulated. And this has probably happened, and this is where the uniqueness of us comes in. This has probably happened through instances of feeling threatened. It could be repeated instances. It could be just, a few big instances. And that's the difference between the big T and the small t trauma that we talked about before in our circle, and we have a blog on our website as well. So, and that threat, our nervous system doesn't differentiate between these huge threats like the tiger jumping out of the bushes to come and eat us, or the bus coming down the street to hit us, or just snide comments, things that make us feel invalid and unloved. This nervous system doesn't differentiate between those things. It just gets triggered in that moment. And for some people, this stress system triggering, this overstimulation, it can just get triggered on, and it just stays on. And you can just imagine what happens to the body then when we're stuck in that stress response, because we're only supposed to be in stress for the amount of time it takes to run away or fight the tiger. We're only built for all of our blood to go to our limbs and to our heart and get us pumping, and all that stress and all that cortisol and all that stress hormone production for a very short amount of time. So if we're stuck in that response and we're 24/7 creating all of these hormones and all of this tension in our body, ready to run, ready to fight, you can just imagine like the deleterious effect that has. It's just too tiring for our body to keep up with that. We're supposed to click back into rest, digest, and heal mode. So much for us is on this healing journey is about finding what that stress is in the background that's being clicked on, the reasons why that stress has been clicked on and still stays clicked on. And they're often the reason why it stays clicked on, because that threat that we detected in the first place may no longer, or very likely is no longer present, unless we have some issues of some boundary setting we need to do. It's also part of the journey. But in general, we're probably quite safe. And it's usually because we've decided something in those moments of threat, in those moments of stress and trauma. We've decided something about ourselves or the world. And it's those subconscious learnings, those subconscious beliefs that get stored down inside of us, that just keep running like a software program in the background of a computer. You can't see it. You often don't know what's going on. It's not a conscious thought in your mind, but your body has learned to be scared of something and stressed about something and on alert. So something's going on in that background now. That stress response in the subconscious is just turning over and keeping that stress response going on in your body, which doesn't allow it to come back down to our lovely heal and digest and rest phase. So when we're talking about getting to the root of our illness, that's what we're talking about. Coming into this awareness of the beliefs and energies that we've stored in our subconscious, and these experiences, the memories, the relationships, the situations that taught us those negative beliefs, that then are in that subconscious, probably out of our awareness, and are constantly stimulating our stress. So gaining awareness of these root triggers to our stress is a really pivotal part of our healing journey. And so, we can get to that awareness in many different ways. It can really come up and there's so many different techniques out there, and we might have already done a lot of that work ourselves on our journey. But EFT is one that we use, and we find is just like, for me, it's just fast forwarded that process for me. Like, I was going through that process with lots of other techniques, but when I started doing EFT, it was like this kind of portal straight in, and sometimes a shortcut straight into, oh, that's what I'm thinking, all right, that's what I'm believing in that moment. I might not actually consciously believe that or think that, but in my subconscious, that's the belief that's running, that's the stress, that's the thing I'm trying to not feel, or the desperate thing I am trying to feel. So it's really, really helped me to find that clarity. And I just wanted to really quickly outline how that started for me when I started EFT. As I said, I was doing some other things. Then I started EFT. And number one, just like we did just then, and hopefully you've had a bit of experience of it, just doing some tapping just calmed my system. I was just like, okay, this is actually quite nice. So, okay, all right, okay, yeah, do some tapping. And then the very first thing that I started to notice was perspective shifts when I started to do EFT. Just, I was so hunkered down into my belief system about what was going on in my body. This pain must be this stomach pain must be that. I've got to treat this like this, and I've got to do this for this because that's the only way I know, the only strategy I have. And it started to allow me to just kind of loosen the grip of those beliefs, those clamped down obsessive beliefs about what I needed to do to get well or what I shouldn't be doing, to allow me to go into the next layer of what was going on. Just as I said just now about those subconscious beliefs, I needed to find something to just come out of that surface layer. And I often term it as, I'm looking and trying to treat and trying to use all my techniques on the leaves and the tops of the branches of the tree, when in actual fact those are manifestations of what's actually going on deep down here in the trunk and in the roots. And EFT has really helped me to just get past myself and the ego and all those thoughts going on, swirling around up here, and all my strategies, my survival strategies, and come down a bit into this level and then come down a bit further, just to find what's truly going on, and it's just amazing how simple really what some of those software programs are in the background, but how pervasive they are and how they've controlled my behavior, or seemingly seem to control my behavior. And doing EFT has given me the power back to, number one, find that awareness, and then go in and work with those beliefs to just transform them. Because it's not only finding that awareness, it's then saying, right, okay, I want to work with you, and I want to create the opposite. I don't want to believe that I'm powerless. I am powerful, so I want to go in and change my belief to I'm powerful. And you can imagine how the body chemistry will change then, and how we come down into our rest, digest, and heal phase if we stop believing those subconscious, often unseen, unheard beliefs in the background. So I hope that gives a bit of a very quick stop background on where we're coming from when we're talking about finding the roots of illness, what really is going on under the surface, and then some techniques to go in there and help. And I'll pass over to Frances now, who's also going to talk a little bit about her journey and some of those layers that are going on.
Yeah, so I had a nice way of looking at what's going on with illness in terms of the 3 Ps. So the first P is the perpetuating factors. So what are the factors that are perpetuating the illness? So for instance, stress patterns around the symptoms themselves and the illness itself can be one of those factors that kind of perpetuates the symptoms, perpetuates the stress in the system. So that's one of the layers often we have to sort of peel away in order to heal. Another layer is looking at, well, what was precipitating the illness? So what was happening just before the illness developed? Often there's been some kind of thing that's happened that's kind of been the straw that broke the camel's back, or the final straw, whatever you say. That wasn't quite the right phrase, but the final straw that led to the illness developing. And then also looking at the underlying predisposing factors. So there we can consider things like if there's been any kind of early childhood trauma or attachment issues with a parent, or even ancestral trauma, or maybe even genes and that sort of thing. So they're the sort of 3 layers we might want to look at in terms of what we might want to be addressing with EFT to help and support a complete and full health recovery. So there's kind of working on those different layers can be really important. So for me, I recognize that one of my core patterns that was perpetuating my illness and also led to my illness was a complete avoiding of conflict at all costs. So I never wanted to express any kind of negative emotion to anyone. I always wanted to keep the peace and to avoid conflict. So that meant that I wasn't very good at sort of allowing my emotions to flow, feeling my emotions, and certainly not very good at communicating them. So one of the final sort of factors for me, in terms of unpicking my illness, was to learn to express my emotions more authentically, learn to be more my authentic self, even if that might sometimes mean dealing with a little bit of conflict. Because I've met people who have spent like years doing Buddhist meditation and that sort of thing, or being on a meditation retreat, and they've learned that actually a level of conflict in human relationships is just an inevitable part of life. So learning how to deal with that, and accept that is important. And learning to be authentic and not to suppress certain emotions. For me, there was a lot of anger in my system that I was just not dealing with, and a lot of that did go back to childhood trauma as well. So it's really, really important to allow ourselves to express our true feelings, and that was kind of a key part of my healing journey, was to sort of address some of those sort of roots. I think what we'll do is we'll probably go in and do a practice soon, really. We're going to do a practice in a minute around one of the sort of layers that can be going on, sort of one of the roots or one of the kind of layers that can be blocking a full health recovery is not believing that you can actually recover. Yeah, that's one of the sort of perpetuating factors, and it's a really important layer to address. We can address lots of layers with EFT. As I said, you know, we can use EFT to work with those sort of stress about symptoms, anxiety about symptoms. The loss to do with the illness itself is often a layer to go through as well. The trauma of when the illness first developed and all those kind of unknown, you know, what's happening to my body and all the sort of fear that can come out as a result of that. And we can use EFT to address, you know, what's happening just before we got unwell and any sort of layers of trauma in our life that kind of led to our system burning out. And for me, I managed to burn my system out at 19 and get really, really unwell when I was 19. So it's like there was many layers to sort of work through. And I mean, I didn't have to resolve all of those issues in order to be well. It was like just having to take enough of the load off my nervous system to be well. And then, you know, the journey of sort of resolving sort of little and big traumas in my life has continued since then. You know, that's a kind of continual personal growth journey if you want to take that. But you know, just taking enough of the layers and load off so that your system can be healthy again, essentially healthy again. So we're going to do a little EFT practice now. So I invite you to get yourself into a comfortable position. And maybe just making sure you've got whatever you need. Maybe you want to just be comfortable on your chair, or you know, making sure you're upright but relaxed. Maybe take a moment to close your eyes and take a breath. Send a smile through your body. And I invite you to say to yourself, I am recovering my health. I am recovering my health. I'd like you to just drop that into your heart and body and subconscious mind and just sort of feel into how that feels when you say that to yourself. And if a 10 was, I'm fully behind that statement, I fully believe that, then you can rate it a 10, which is great. You probably don't need to be here. That's wonderful. But a 0 is, no, I'm not behind that statement at all. So out of 10 at the moment, how much do you believe that to be true? I am recovering my health. And because it's found that one of what's required in terms of healing is to believe that we can heal, to believe that the techniques and tools we're using are going to work for us, and also to believe that we already are in the process of healing. You know, you could even just believe, just by being here in this moment and taking this webinar and doing this practice, I already am in the process of healing. But let's just see what feels true to you right now. So I am recovering myself. Rate it out of 10. It'd be interesting maybe to just write your number down out of 10 in the chat or Q&A box, and we can have a look at that. And then also, what is it that stops it from being a 10? You know, and if you're not sure what it is, what could it be? What is it that stops it being from 10? Is it, you know, my mum's also got this health condition and she's had it all her life? Or is it, you know, I've tried everything and nothing works? Is it that, you know, I'm too old to recover my health, or whatever it is? Or, you know, I've got this particular unique situation with my health, which means that I can't, even though someone else might be able to recover their health, that kind of thing. So what is it for you? And then we're going to do some tapping on some of those sort of things that come up, really. What sort of beliefs, thoughts, emotions, even memories come up for you when you sort of, what in terms of what blocks it being a 10 out of 10, I can recover my health. Okay, so we've got a few things coming in. Let's have a look. Oh, great, good to see your numbers. So we've got some quite high numbers here. That's brilliant. Fantastic. Oh, great, 10. Love that, Julia. Wonderful, thank you. Thank you. Some of you sharing the numbers with just us, so I don't know whether to read them all out, but great. Oh, good, another 10, fantastic. Wonderful. Okay, so, and yeah, it could be the yeah, but. So if you imagine yourself saying, I am recovering my health, I am recovering my health, and saying that to yourself and letting that sink in, what are the yeah, buts that come up? Yeah, but. Yeah, I like that, thanks. Thanks, Tilly. It's been going on so long, I don't know if it's possible. Hold on, maybe it's too late. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, okay, yeah, hearing you. Tracy there. Some of you are sharing it to just us, so I don't know if you don't want us to read out the information. Yeah. What the numbers are for. So yeah, so a 10 out of 10 is I really am behind that statement. I am recovering my health. And a 0 out of 10 is I'm really not behind that statement. I don't believe it at all. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I should be recovered by now. Good ones. Yeah, lots of interesting ones coming in, and they're very familiar. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to tap the side of your hand, and I'm going to repeat some of the things that I've read here, and you can kind of put it in your own words as we say it, as I say it. So even though, and you can repeat what works for you, I have this doubt about whether I can fully recover my health, or whether I already am fully recovering my health, because, so you can put in there what that doubt is or what that fear is. I am okay and I accept myself anyway. Even though I have this doubt about whether I can fully recover my health, because I'm too old, because I've tried everything and it feels like I'm still getting worse, because, and put in your statements there, I accept myself anyway. Even though, and for those of you that believe it, out of 10 out of 10, you're going to have to be creative with what you tap with here. You can just tap with, great, I'm fully, I really believe I am fully recovering my health, so that's brilliant, and just really tap that in. But even though I have some concern about whether I can fully recover my health, I'm not fully behind that statement that I already am recovering my health, because, putting your words in there, I am okay and I accept myself anyway. Okay, and then we tap round, starting at the start of the eyebrow. So this belief that I'm too old, this thought that I've tried so many things and I'm still ill, this thought that I already should be well by now, if it was going to work for me, if I was able to get well. This belief that my situation is unique because I don't even know what's wrong with me, so how can I believe I can get better? So just repeating what really resonates for you. So any parts of me that are doubting that I can recover my health, or that I already am, because I've not seen enough evidence yet. Because my symptoms are a constant reminder that I'm not there yet. So whatever it is that comes up when you say to yourself, I am fully recovering my health. Yeah, but I should be better by now. Yeah, but my doctor told me that I should just learn to manage it. Yeah, but I'm just putting in all the reasons why you feel, why you can't fully get behind that statement and believe it at 10 out of 10 that I am fully recovering my health. Putting in all those reasons as you tap. Right, but I also have this other condition that I can't heal because under the arm, but I've been sick for so long. It's hard to change. There's something unique about my situation, about my health, my trauma even, that I'm too broken. That's quite a familiar one as well I've seen. Yeah, I've hit some big challenges and my symptoms have flared and I'm really scared. I'm afraid of what it would be like to be well even. You know, that feels unknown. Maybe being ill feels known now, so I'm afraid to be well. My mother has the same condition as I have. It doesn't seem to matter what I do or don't do. I lack trust in myself and my body. Maybe it's just wishful thinking that I can heal myself now. It's been so long. Side of the eye, I've been ill since I was a child. So I don't really even know what it feels like to feel well. So just repeating what resonates with you, what resonates with your personal experience and story. Yeah, and I can't afford the treatments that I need to get well. Okay, and then just come back to the side of your hand again now, and just explore saying to yourself again, I am fully recovering my health. I am fully recovering my health. And just rating it out of 10 now, and just seeing if there's been any shift or not. If something new's come up, maybe from some of the ones I've been reading out from other people's. But just seeing how much you believe that to be true out of 10 now. I am fully recovering my health. Just seeing if there's been any shift. Maybe letting me know if there's been any improvement there or not. Okay, so we'll do another round, and this time we're going to bring in a little bit more of the positive. So even though I have some doubt that I am recovering my health already, because I still have some doubt, because I accept myself anyway. And I choose to believe that I am recovering my health now. Even though I still have some doubt that I am fully recovering my health, I accept myself. And I choose to believe that I am fully recovering my health, that I am recovering my health now. Even though I still have some doubt that I am recovering my health, because I choose now to feel what it would feel like to really believe that I am recovering my health. Now, if that doesn't feel comfortable for you to say, then feel free to adjust my words to what does feel right to you. That's important with tapping. If I'm working one-to-one, I'm very much honouring the words of the person I'm working with. With a group, it's quite different. Just have to do our best. Okay, the start of the eyebrow. So any parts of me that are doubting that I can recover my health still. Side of the eye. Any parts of me that are doubting that I can recover my health still, because. Any parts of me that are doubting that I can recover my health still, because, that are doubting that statement. Any parts that stop it being a 10 out of 10. And you can repeat the beliefs, the thoughts, the emotions even that come up for you around this statement. Any parts of me that are doubting that I already am recovering my health. Any limiting beliefs, thoughts, emotions. Just repeating what they are. Yeah, it's making me cry, so something is moving. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Any parts of me that are doubting that I can fully recover my health, because. Any parts of me that are doubting that statement. The thoughts and beliefs, memories, emotions that come up when I say to myself, I am fully recovering my health. And then we'll just do a round of, I am fully recovering my health. I choose to believe that I am recovering my health. And also to say that you could repeat this whole exercise I've got on practice I just put on YouTube actually, which is just more like, I can fully recover my health. That might be a starting point, like I can recover my health. And then you can move towards, I am recovering my health. But maybe just seeing if you can say, I choose to believe by being here, I'm healing myself and my body. Choose to believe that by being in this circle of women and by doing this tapping, I am already in the process. I choose to believe that all the tools and techniques that I'm using to help myself to heal, all the self-care I'm doing, all the work I'm doing on myself is already helping me. Even if it's up and down, you know, that's a really key thing to remember, is the journey to health is not a straight line, it's really up and down. Sometimes as the nervous system kind of repairs and heals, it needs to go through times of crashing and strange sort of symptoms and all sorts. So under the arm, I already am recovering my health. I choose to believe that I can do this, that I have that power within me, that there are tools and techniques that can help me, and that maybe even EFT could be one of them. Choose to believe that I can, or I already am, recovering my health, just by being here, just by tapping, just by believing it's possible. Okay, so we are going to have to draw this to a close in a moment. It could go on and on, of course, with different layers. But just to check in again what the number is. I am recovering my health. I am recovering my health. Give it a number out of 10, and you can let me know if there's been any shift. And there already has been some comments here. So there has been some improvements for most of you, it looks like. Great, thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, 2 to 5, that's a good shift. 5 to 7, 6 to 9, great. 4 to 5, 1 to 6, brilliant. And this is something that you can keep coming back to. So often on the healing journey, you'll have times where you're doing all your self-care really well. Maybe you've got the right community around you, things are going well. And then there'll be a crash for whatever reason. Maybe just there's been some challenging life events that have triggered your nervous system. And you go back into symptoms, and then the mind can quickly get back into, oh no, you know, here we are again, and all that sort of thing. And then the doubt can kick in. And it's just like a practice you can keep coming back to whatever's blocking you from believing that statement, and keep, you know, coming back to a much higher number, and that belief, and that is so powerful for helping your healing journey. And really, you can do this tapping, you know, like I've written a book on healing chronic illness called The Lotus Process, and you can do it at any like different phase of the healing journey and different aspects of it. So you can do it on any parts of you that are, for instance, you know, finding it difficult to accept the illness, which is a foundation for healing, as well as belief, you know, accepting that it's here for now, finding acceptance and peace. And to get to acceptance, you might need to grieve the loss of the illness. That's often a layer. You can do it on working through any blocks that can come up in terms of the healing journey. Like for me, my sort of peacemaker tendencies was a big block that I had to overcome to recover my health. So any other personality traits that can be a block, like the achiever or the one who always wants to be doing something and pushing, which was another block of mine, is a common one. And then, you know, as well, sometimes the illness can feel like a bit of a protection from a world that doesn't feel safe. So then again, you can sort of use EFT to work through that. And then once you're sort of feeling more resourced, you can also use EFT to work through some past trauma that can be sort of part of what's triggered your nervous system sort of and led to the susceptibility to illness as well. Oh, great. Thank you for validating my journey. Thank you so much. Once you're fully well, do you experience dips? Good question. Briefly, I think I've been well for 12 years. I probably did have some sort of mini dips, which I might have thought was like mini chronic fatigue dips early on, but these days I don't consider them to be sort of chronic fatigue dips. If I have anything, it's more just like, okay, it's a little reminder that I need to slow down, or, you know, that sort of thing, or just sort of normal life sort of tiredness or whatever at times. But yeah, I think, you know, one of the keys to this journey as well is about learning to sustain your health once you're better, not going back into old patterns. And you'll get lessons again and again until you sort of really learn them. And it's hard that, but it's what happens.
Can I just say on that one as well?
Yeah.
Like it's so, I think once you've experienced something like a fatigue or a pain syndrome, then when you go into healing from that, you experience some tiredness or some pain, and there's a fear attached to that coming. Oh no, it's all going to come back. But if you can really get to the underlying beliefs underneath it and the beliefs about the beliefs, then you can come into a place where you know that just every human is on a rhythm. We're all on our rhythms with the moons and the seasons and our hormones, and we have better days and less good days and illnesses, and we just become more, we learn to become resilient to those things. So and I think that I've spoken to a lot of people who are scared of getting well because they're scared that they'll get well and yay, but then what if I get ill again? They're so worried about the up and down and like losing what they've gained. But then there'll be beliefs behind that as well. So it's just about always digging away at those beliefs that are behind, your beliefs. Okay.
Great, thanks. So is there anything we want to read out before we go on to the next bit? So I'm just getting the chat box back up. How do you know what is blocking you? Good question. I mean, that's kind of doing some sort of deeper inquiry work, sometimes getting support to really sort of look into what could be blocking your particular healing journey. I've got a chapter in my book on that asks some questions that might help you get there, in terms of sort of personality traits and that sort of thing, and the way sort of past trauma can be blocking you by believing things like the world's not a safe place and that sort of thing, or I'm not worthy of love, or there can be sort of underlying sort of beliefs and tendencies to address. I'm not worthy of health, even of a successful, happy life. There can be those kind of blocks. Is there any framework to work in with EFT to do it properly? I certain progression of thoughts. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, any tapping is good tapping. So I would just say, now you've got this tool, you can use it. You can just, even if you're just sort of holding the points, or just even out and about, you can kind of do stuff like this. Some of these sort of points people naturally do sort of hold, and it's kind of like our intuition knows that sort of these, it can be soothing to sort of hold these particular points. I mean, there is the process of, initially starting here and making a statement, I've got this issue and I accept myself, or I've got this issue and there's something positive that you hold it with. And then tapping around with what the issue is, and then we can work through layers as well. But most people find they get the best results when they do EFT with someone else or in a group session, I would say, because they've got that kind of holding and support and container around it. And certainly for the deeper work, that's really, really important, not to sort of dig into deep traumas on your own, because your system will have a lot of protective strategies around sort of not dealing with that on your own anyway, because we heal in relationship. We get hurt in relationship, but we also heal in relationship. So it's really important. Yeah, grieving the illness, thank you for articulating this in me. Yeah, it's such a layer, it's a massive layer for me to get better, was to grieve the loss of the years of illness. Yeah, okay, and there might be some limiting beliefs there, perhaps around genes, Claire, that might be sort of holding you back as well. I mean, because our genes are, epigenetics shares about how our genes are quite sort of changeable depending on our environment and sort of our inner environment as well. So just be mindful of what you take on, of what you've been told around that, and what you make that mean as well. And the same goes with sort of symptoms generally. The meanings we create about them are not necessarily what's actually going on, and cannot be helpful. So
I just reaffirm that like looking at the belief system is so important, because number one, that belief might not be true. We get so identified or so obsessed sometimes with something, and some of the beliefs that I've had, and I see so much of it in the beautiful sharings that you've done above, are things that I absolutely believed 110% at parts of my journey, and they were blocking beliefs. But I'm living proof, and so are so many other people, that once you get awareness of those beliefs and work with them to release them, transform them, whatever it is you need to do with them, then actually they don't block you anymore, and that you find that actually they're not true. Like, I was so obsessed that there was something in my stomach and I had to pay thousands of pounds for all these investigations, and I was like, no, it's definitely there, and I was obsessed with it. There was nothing there, even though it felt like there was physically, like you could even see like this lump, like there was just nothing at all there. And now, you know, it'll come years later, there's nothing wrong with it. So sometimes we really do have to challenge those beliefs, and it's just starting there. Start exactly where you are. I believe this about this, so start tapping on that, or bring that to a session with somebody to do some tapping.
And Dana asked the name of the book. So the book is called You Can Heal Chronic Illness, The Lotus Process, 8 Steps to Health and Happiness. And currently you can get it on Kindle for just £1 or on print for £5 until I do my second edition. Okay, and Emma shares protection from a world that seems overwhelming. Yes, very key for a lot of people. Thank you, it's really helpful and enlightening. This is Lucy. Jerry Ann, can you say more to beliefs about the beliefs? And we're going to have to stop reading these out in a minute. I think it's about getting towards the end of time. But do you want to say more about beliefs, Jen? Yeah,
it's just the layers. I mean, peeling back the layers. You know, so we say, like, just like you said above, someone said above, protection from the world that seems overwhelming. So you believe that, you know, deep down, it's in a core, you believe that the world is overwhelming, the world's unsafe, the world's threatening. And then you can believe that you need that belief because it keeps you safe. And then you believe that, oh no, that's a blocking belief, and you start to believe negatively about that. So you can create beliefs about beliefs. So it's just coming down through the layers of it, and that's when we come into the roots. We come out with the leaves and the branches when we get past all of the kind of beliefs about the beliefs, and then the kind of all the proliferation of what we think about the world and ourselves. And then we come down to, you know, what's at the base there? Oh, the world's unsafe, people are unsafe, people are untrustworthy, I'm unlovable, I'm shameful, I'm dirty, whatever it is that at base we've been taught and repeated to us. So that's what we're talking about when we're coming out of like all of this stuff going on in our head and heart, and then we're coming right down into the roots of ourselves.
The perfection in me wants to do the tapping right, and my issue is judging myself and thinking that I might be doing it wrong, hence it won't work. Yes, that's a key pattern that can come up around any aspect of healing, but I do see that quite a lot in EFT. So any tapping is good tapping, remember that. Jane, lovely words and supportive information. Barbara says, can EFT help arthritis? I have pain from fibromyalgia, but also arthritis. But it's true what Jen said about the nervous system. Already my nervous system feels like it's calming down. Great. Well, calming your nervous system and stress response down will help, I would say, with healing any illness. I would look up arthritis recovery story EFT, and you might find some interesting things on there. Yeah, I mean, dietary things I think are often important with arthritis as well. So I'm not an expert on that condition, but I would say it's definitely not going to do any harm, and it could certainly help. With symptoms, generally, we can work on the symptoms themselves. We could tap on what the symptoms feel like in the body, describing them. We can work on our feelings about the symptoms, the emotions that come up about them, our beliefs and thoughts about them. And we can also inquire into the symptoms, you know, if the symptoms had an emotion connected with them or even a trauma, what could that be? And we can tap on that as well. So there's like lots of layers we can work on and ways we can work with symptoms. Babsy says, did you both have CFS and were healed with EFT? So for me, I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I sort of pretty much got better before I found EFT, but EFT sort of helped me emotionally after I got better, and I was going through a lot of sort of emotional, sort of psychological sort of crisis, I would say, and it really helped a lot there. But I would say I used other methods that were sort of in line with the same kind of thing that EFT does that helped me heal, and I've found EFT to be incredibly effective for myself and others since then. Gayla, I find the repeated tapping motion too stimulating rather than relaxing. Did you say that just holding points? Yes, just holding points is fine. Absolutely, and that's a really important point. I find that quite a lot with sensitive nervous systems. So just start by just holding the points, even just imagining yourself tapping, or imagining yourself holding the points if you're in bed, you know, for those who are bedbound or something. That can be helpful as well. Yes. Is it okay to start tapping when I'm already upset, crying? Yes, it is okay to start tapping. EFT will, if you just keep tapping, it will generally help the emotion to flow. It will help the emotion to flow through you, and yeah, it can be very helpful to help with that emotional flow and help it release sooner than it would do otherwise. Now, do you think we have to shift gears, Jen, or should we answer all the rest of the questions? Oh, we're getting there, aren't we? Though I'm worried that I'm not in the right environment to heal. I've had chronic fatigue for 1.5 years. I'm 23 and currently at Cambridge doing a master's. Oh wow, taking it slowly. But whilst having CFS, I moved from the UK to Australia. I think Australia is where I need to be to heal. Is this a limiting belief? Well, it could well be, because often we have this sort of fantasy. Oh, I feel like I used to fantasize. Oh, if only I just lived in a retreat center and didn't have anything to do all day, I'd be able to heal, or my life would be okay. And we can have sort of fantasies that can hold us back. But at the same time, I can imagine Australia could be a very healing place to be. I can relate to that. I'd say, creating the best environment to heal can be important, but at the same time, having something you're engaged in can also be helpful. Not to just get into doing nothing and being, say, at home and well, unless you absolutely need to have that time, because sometimes that can mean you get more caught in illness cycles. So sometimes when you've got something to focus on, be it a sort of part-time job or a bit of study, it can be helpful in the right way, and with a good balance the rest of your life and with the self-care and tools. Do you want to add anything to that, or you have to move on, Jen?
And I think it's just that's what so much of the healing journey has been for me as well. It's asking my heart, like asking my actual, like, inside, like, what's right for me? Like, is this environment right? Do I want to be doing this? Is this technique working for me? It's been learning to trust yourself, learning to trust, that and really just like be okay where you are, and know that you can do that anywhere, because wherever we go in the world, just like Frances said, you can fantasize about the most brilliant situation, you can put yourself in it. Doesn't mean you're going to feel any better, because you're still taking the issues that you have with you, and the beliefs that you have with you. So you might be just applying those to a different situation. So just being really honest with yourself and saying, does it support me? Does it serve me? And if it does, okay, great. Okay, can let that go and get on with healing this other thing.
Okay, so we'll just really quickly whiz through the rest of the ones. Can tapping help around medication side effects? Yes, it can help with medication side effects. I've worked with people that have been coming off things like benzodiazepines, and it's really helped them. Yeah, it can do. I put the title of my book in there. Yes, I put it in the chat. Sometimes my arm hurts as I do all the points. Am I just doing them too strongly or too fast? How do your arms not get achy? Yeah, so you might want to go a bit slower, maybe just hold the points, maybe imagine yourself tapping the points, maybe focusing on the finger points. So yeah, just adapt it according to your body and where you're at the moment. Great, Jerry-Ann. Gallstone attacks, potentially. Worth trying on everything. Try it on everything is what Gary Craig used to say, who created EFT. How often to tap in a day? You can tap a lot. You can keep, you can do regular bits of tapping throughout the day. You could do a focused tapping session. You can do journaling about sort of smaller events from your past and tap through those yourself, and then bring bigger ones to a practitioner. How does EFT work with gut to program techniques? Really well. It's another amygdala retraining technique. It's thought to calm the amygdala. EFT is, so it really fits in well. And I work with it within some of the techniques of the gut to program as well. But yeah, it's really good for working with sort of emotional, sort of the more emotional side of things as well. Jennifer, did EFT? I've already answered that question. I put my book. Yep. Can you tap with both hands? Yep, you can tap with both hands at the same, like this. Yep. Tapping on the events that happened before you got your illness be a good place to start, potentially, yeah, or maybe the events that maybe around the time you first got on well, and the sort of unknowns of what was happening and the fear that arose from that, or simply just your emotions about where you are at with your illness right now would be a good place to start. Yeah, there's just something about that point that's not meant to be great if you've got high blood pressure. Well, I've not come across the idea about it can mobilize metals in highly toxic people. I mean, I think potentially, any kind of sort of healing modality and also clearing emotional things can with it, because when there's emotion trapped in the body, when there's trauma trapped in the body, there's also ends up being sort of physical toxicity there. So when you start to release that, it can release some of that into your system. So yeah, I mean, chlorella or any kind of thing that can help with that might be helpful. I used to tap on occasion, but I've developed a and now both tapping and just holding out Just holding an area bothers my nervous system. Yeah, I just adapt it to, just explore adapting it to your situation is really all I can say right now. So
can I just quickly address Babsy's
yeah.
thing earlier, because I think she was asking me directly, because I didn't answer that question. Did EFT heal me from CFS? It was a part of my journey, Babsy. I did Gupta program. I did diet stuff, and then I did Gupta program for a few years, and then I added EFT into those techniques, and with everything else I was doing, but I just needed a full overhaul of my lifestyle, self-care, just changing up things, different kinds of movement, different kinds of energy medicine. But EFT is something I used as soon as I started using it every day, and then now I'm a practitioner. I use it with nearly every person I work with, and on myself for anything that comes up, because life is always something. And as Francis said, there's things that can be left in the system to just deal with. So yeah, it's been a huge contributor to my healing. That's what I can say in a smaller space of time. Okay, so shall we make the offer, Fran?
Yeah.
So just thank you so much, everyone, for sharing everything that you have with us so honestly, coming forward just with such intention for your own health today, and being really honest, and trying out this technique, or maybe refreshing this technique if it's something that you've tried before. And if you want to go deeper into it, if you feel called to really learn this, I learned this myself to start with from an online course. So we ourselves have an online course with Francis, and it might have been Francis that did the online course. It was you or Sophie, or both of you, that I learned the technique, and then I went on and did some sessions with practitioner, and then I've just developed it since then. But I did it by myself from this course, and so now we have our own course. It's a lovely course. So if you're feeling stuck, and there's so much information you've given, so many beliefs you come forward with, feeling stuck in your recovery, feeling confused about what to do next, feeling defeated, feeling like, but I just can't progress because of this, because of that, but the buts, tried everything. So EFT is this self-help tool that you can do by yourself, anytime, anywhere. You can also obviously do it with a practitioner, and I really do recommend doing it with the deeper stuff, the trauma and the memories. But it's something that like just even doing it silently, just tapping by yourself, just learning to do that and feeling really confident in its use is just such a technique. And so many people, I know business people that never were ill, they just used it to get past certain blocks in their finances or their family life. And they'll sit in the car like on the way to work, and they'll tap, and it's just a lifelong tool for your resilience and for dealing with anything that comes up. So we have this online course that Francis is running, and what you will get when you join that, if you wanted to join that, is you get 2-hour-long sessions with Francis. It's a group session. It's just like this, but much more focused, and really getting into using the technique for yourself. So there'd be a live session at the beginning of the course on the 27th of February, and then one at the end on the 27th of March. And in between those 2 dates that month, you will get the self-study course sent to your email box every day for 2 weeks. So every day you'll get loads of videos with practices, guidance on the technique, really how to get specific with what's going on, the kind of beliefs that are coming up, and really, being guided to practice this for yourself. And as an extra, we're going to add in a month's membership whilst you're taking that course over that month, to the Women's Wellness Circle, which is what we run as coaches and as co-directors. It's a really intimate membership private page, which you can't have access to unless you're an actual member of our community, which you can join at any time. And this course is actually free with our membership if you joined the membership, so you're welcome to do that as well. But you would get 1 month access to that, to support you through going through this course, for any of the stuff that's coming up with you, to really come into community and heal together, because that's what we're all about, like creating this vibrant global community of really like-minded people, like-minded women that are on this journey together. So we come together and we do weekly intention setting ceremonies and meditations, self-care, all the things that just support and bolster a healthy, vital life. But our healing process as well, because we need a bit more often in our healing process to just, get us through those tougher, challenging times when we're coming up against these beliefs. Because, I won't lie to you, it can be really challenging to come up against these beliefs, whether they're limiting beliefs or the core beliefs about the world and ourselves, and it can be quite surprising what it is that we believe about ourselves, because we're not rationally, like I said at the beginning, think it, but subconsciously somehow we've been taught this through experience. So we're there to support this journey, and to support the journey of coming back over and over to these core issues and coming at them from different directions and with different techniques, but EFT being a core one to do that. It's just one you will have for the rest of your life once you learn it. It's like learning to ride a bike. You just know how to do that for the rest of your life, and it gives you this really great opportunity to work on your personal issues and possibly affect your healing journey. So Fran will tell you how to sign up if you fancy signing up.
Great, so I've just put the link with more information about the course into the chat box there. So you can, if you go onto that link, and we'll also send it in the follow-up email, you can sign up for the course. So you get everything that Jen shared about, and is also on the list on that page, and it costs £75 for the course, for the month-long course, including a month in the Women's Wellness Circle community. And as Jen said, you do have access to this course if you join the year-long Women's Wellness Circle community, not just for 1 month, so just to be clear on that. And so when you sign up, you'll receive a welcome email with next steps, and with more information on the dates, and making sure you get them in your diary. And when we get towards the start of the course on the 27th of February at 5 p.m. GMT is the first session. We will send out a link to join the Women's Wellness Circle Facebook community as well, which you can join in. And you'll be able to join in the calls like today via your phone or computer or iPad, and all the calls will be recorded as well, so you can listen back later if you can't make it live, and you'll be able to keep it for forever. Yeah, so the purpose of this course really is to help to empower you with the tool of EFT to support you to heal chronic illness, which includes the live sessions, but also the self-study element as well, which goes really deep into all the different kind of layers that are often required in terms of healing chronic illness, and using EFT at every step along the day, every step along the way.
I forgot to mention something. I forgot to mention the special bonus gift.
Oh yes.
Which is that in the next, if you sign up to the course in the next 48 hours from this moment onwards, so it finishes at 6 p.m. on Thursday GMT, we will send you our Women's Wellness Circle meditation package, which is a package of 5 or 6 meditations.
Six powerful meditations.
Yeah, that are really supportive for this healing journey. And one of those one of mine in there definitely goes into what beliefs are we feeling right now, and a gentle way of releasing those, but it's also a way of finding what some of those beliefs are that you can come out of that meditation and then do some tapping on or journaling, whatever it is you like to use. So yeah, all the practices that we do in the Women's Wellness Circle are all about supporting every part of ourselves through this process.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to everyone for coming today, and thank you for all your thank yous for the session and the EFT, and the course will be run on Zoom. Yes, it will probably be on this platform, depending on numbers. We might have everyone on video, we'll see and see what everyone wants the most, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for all of you who have attended live. Thank you for those who have joined the recording. It would be great to welcome you on this EFT course, to really go deeper into it for a month with a group of women, the women in the community, and all the women who join this course as well. It'd be really, really wonderful. So I invite you now to just take a moment to pause. We always like to close every session with a tiny bit of self-care, so take a moment to pause and breathe. Maybe put your hands over your heart, and just have a sense of maybe anything you're taking from today's call, any aha moments, any insights. And take a moment to feel this is a circle of women wrapping around the world and wishing the other women here the health and happiness you know they all deserve, from your heart to theirs. And take a moment to take that in for yourself. Take in those well wishes to receive to your heart. So wishing you all well, and we'll send out an email with more information as well. Bye everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thanks everyone. Bye.